Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 40 of the False Prophets podcast. And spring is finally here. It's warm outside, it's beautiful, and it's just in time for nuclear war. Oh my gosh, this stuff is crazy. You know, this Kim Jong-un guy, for a guy who looks like the world's tallest baby, he really does have some balls on him. You know, I don't know if it's maybe just a seasonal thing. Like I said, you know, the springtime is here. I don't know if that's it's like a rule. It's almost like kind of like a fashion rule in the same way that there's no white after Labor Day. You know, there's no nuclear ballistics missiles until April. You know, I don't know what he's thinking, but this guy is crazy. If you guys haven't heard, China just issued a state of emergency sorry, not China, Japan issued a state of emergency in northern Japan. They quickly called it off, I think, after a few hours. But Kim Jong-un has been sparking stuff up there, man. He is, dare I call Kim Jong-un Asian Kanye? This guy is a risk taker. He is a trendsetter. He is the type of guy. He's a disruptor, is what he is. You know, he's a disruptor. He has been throwing ballistics missiles constantly. Right? This isn't the only time this guy's been doing this stuff. He's been shooting off little things, doing exercises forever, you know. And now he's picking on Japan. Now he's throwing paper planes at Japan, you know. And Japan used to be a big bad boss, okay? Until, you know, as Dave Chappelle said, we blasted them into Hello Kitty, you know. They used to be the big bad boss. Now they're on punishment, and it's almost like we're in a classroom, right? And like, you know, the kid that used to cause all the trouble now has to sit in the front of the class. Right? And the kids who are still in the back of the class are throwing paper planes at him. They're throwing spitballs at him, but he can't react. He can't do anything, you know? Everybody's going to look at him all crazy, right? He doesn't want to go back to detention, not again. You know, that's what they're doing to him. I feel bad. I feel bad for Japan. I feel bad for the fucking world. I don't know what's going to happen right now. This shit is fucking wild. You know, I thought Creed 3 was exciting. Okay? I don't know what's going on right now. This shit is crazy, dude. This shit is fucking crazy. You know, that Kim Jong-un, I do want to say shout out to nepotism. You know, it's rare that nepotism actually works where the son actually ends up doing better than his father. You know what I mean? Like, right? I feel like we were all, maybe it's just me, but I feel like we were all skeptical of Kim Jong-un when he first came on the scene. Am I crazy? Am I crazy or am I right? You know, I feel like we were all kind of skeptical of him. We had this vibe of like, because Kim Jong-il was our guy. You know, Kim Jong-il was famous. Oh, this guy, he's badass. All he does is wear these gray suits. You know, he's in Team America. He's the main villain in Team America. This dude, he's the one who really put North Korea on the fucking map. You know, I didn't know really much about North Korea until Kim Jong-il. You know, you're like, this guy is some fucking, he's a different level of fucking motherfucker. You know, it was notorious. You're like, this is the guy, right? You think he's college dropout. You know, he's college dropout. But I gotta say, Kim Jong-un, he's my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. You know what I mean? He's this guy. He took tyranny to another level of artistry that is just mwah. Oh, it's beautiful. You know, I thought when he stepped on the scene, he was going to be more like a Colin Hanks type guy, you know, where it's like, he's fun, but he's not his dad, you know, he's not his dad. This guy, he's made a name for himself. I'm proud. I want to say, Kim, if you're watching this, I'm proud of you, buddy. You are causing some fucking trouble out there. Jesus. Who knows what's going to happen with this world, dude? You know, fucking Biden's already out of here. I don't know if you guys heard. I don't know if you saw. Have you seen this? You heard about this? You seen this? This guy, there's a special plane that the U.S. government uses for the president that's pretty much restricted for only if there is, you know, a high possibility of nuclear war. And supposedly that plane was seen flying over Wales. So, you know, that's something tells me that's not a good sign. Right, like Joe Biden's kind of like the guy who, you know, he's that one friend who always comes to the bar but never has any money, you know, and he always leaves before the bill gets there, right? Or there's a bunch of drinks, right? He gets Tecate, so you're not like super suspicious. You're like, whatever, he's just drinking, I'm drinking, you know, we have our tabs, whatever. Little do you know, he has no tab. Okay, little do you know, he's gonna be leaving in about 25 minutes. Okay, but he didn't tell you he's leaving. He just said he's going to the bathroom. But that guy's gone. That guy's gone. And the worst part about Joe Biden too is he has dementia, so he's old as fuck. So he can use that excuse about he doesn't know what he's doing. You know, I can just see it now. They're roasting him at the next fucking press conference. They're like, Mr. Biden, Mr. Biden, you were seen flying over Wales, and he's just gonna be like, Wales? What? Come on, man. Come on, man. Wales? What are we? Yeah, we might be at war with China. You're talking about Flipper here? Come on. Free Willy. Listen, I believe in freedom, but eh, Wales, I was never anywhere. I was never, you never seen me pissing anywhere. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? You're just speaking gibberish. And he's like, all right, I'll see everybody later. And then, he goes over, he goes in the background or whatever, goes behind the stage. They deactivate his retarded president brain. They power him down. And the little elves that are slowly turning gears in his mind get to take a break and have a nice little coffee break. I'm assuming most things in the U.S. government are basically just Men in Black at this point because it's so ridiculous. We're getting to such a ridiculous level of bullshit that it is quite disheartening. On a good note, though, food has gone down. Is everybody ready? Is everybody happy about that? Right? That's gonna keep the rest of us common folk a little bit calmer, right? The price of food has gone down, pretty not dramatically, but it's decent. You can buy a couple ham sandwiches. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? You can buy a couple ham sandwiches nowadays. Eggs have decreased, which eggs are making a comeback. I feel like eggs made a comeback quicker than Kanye made a comeback. Eggs. All they had to do was apologize, and they were just welcomed right back into the fold. As soon as eggs racked up their prices, right? They decided they wanted better. We were like, okay, fuck eggs. People started painting potatoes on Easter and shit. That's when eggs knew. They were like, we got to get back to what we do best: being cheap as fuck and being the best thing for poor people. As an eating option. And I respect it. I respect it. Eggs. I respect you for knowing your demographic and finally humbling yourself back to where you're supposed to be, next to bacon, right? Which is like slightly expensive at times, but not too crazy. Eggs is always the cheapest thing. When they're making it expensive, come on. No one likes eggs enough for you to make them $8. Am I crazy? I'm not. Eggs are only good if they're with something. Why are you eating $8? I'm paying $8 for these eggs. Just get the fuck out of here. I'm glad you learned your place, okay? And you better fucking watch it, okay, eggs? You better fucking watch it. I'm fucking watching you, buddy. I'm watching you, dude. This shit's wild. I know. I'm out of it. I'm acting crazy. I'm out of my fucking mind. I'm still in my aunt's house. I don't know when I'm gonna go back. I might just live here forever. Right? That's a fucking terrible thing. She does not want me to say that. Believe me. But I'm here, still in Scotch Plains, New Jersey, hanging out, living life, chilling, and it is boring as fuck. I forgot how boring the suburbs are. Yeah, when I was younger and I didn't have anything, right? I had no real mental stimulation. I didn't know that it was boring, right? I thought walking to Quick Check was, was like going to Disney World. To me, that was the funnest thing you could ever do with your entire life, But now that I've lived in New York for 10 years, I've done cocaine and I've eaten ass, my tastes are a little bit different, as you say. My tastes have gone a little bit sophisticated. It takes more than a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese to get me to have a good time, and I feel bad about it. I feel like I'm not appreciating my roots enough. I feel like I'm this fucking take it for granted piece of shit New Yorker, and maybe I am, but you know what? I'm proud of it. All right, I like doing cocaine. I like eating ass. Right? Those are life's simple pleasures, and everybody should have that opportunity. Okay, hey, vote for me. All right, if you vote for me today for president of the United States, every family will have a key bump of cocaine and enough ass to eat to hold them over for the winter. And if you take one thing away today, it's that. All right, vote Risden. 2024. Hey, baby. What else is happening? We're in a weird time in this fucking country, dude. We're in a fucking weird time in this place, dude. I've been hearing nothing but just insane stories, right? I've been hearing that there was a man recently in Florida, of course, who pulled out a machete and tried to kill a bunch of people at a karaoke bar because they didn't respect his karaoke request. Yes, that is true. So apparently this guy, he was running an event there. This is the guy who's part of the establishment. That's why I love Florida too. It's like you come to New York and the guy that's getting arrested for bringing in a machete is a customer. You know what I mean? Like, you go to Florida, and the guy who brings the machete is the manager. I like that. I like the upward mobility of that, you know? Crazy people need opportunities, too, and I think that's a really beautiful thing, you know? Not enough people talk about that, you know? Shit is nice. Florida, it's an interesting place, though. It's an interesting place. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been, but it's just a bunch of people from, it's like the dumbest, gaudiest, like Long Island, New York, New Jersey trash, but they have money. And then North Florida is just nothing but idiot fucking hillbillies. And it's such a funny, like, way to see, like, a state be formed, you know? Because these two people, they're just as stupid. They're both the same level of stupid, but at the same time, their values are so different. You know, that they're at each other's necks every day. There's also something about Florida where it just feels like you could disappear there. You know, it's like a mix of like jungle and swamp. You know, I feel like you can just go down there and not tell anybody your real name and you'll be fine. Right? Like, I feel like Florida is the East Coast version of Alaska, right? Where it's like everybody's running away from something, right? Whether it's taxes, whether it's a divorce, right? Whether it's a couple gun charges, I don't fucking know, but they're all running away from something. And I find that beautiful, you know? America, where people can dip out of their responsibilities at any time. It's a beautiful thing. Even the president does it, apparently. Flying over whales. What a piece of shit. This fucking guy. Oh my gosh. It's so fucking weird. I try not to get too discouraged or care too much about all these things. I know I've been doing a lot of news stories. I'm trying to keep people informed, but but at the same time, it fucking depresses me. It drives me nuts. I can't, I feel like I'm dying doing it. You know what I mean? I talk shit about the news, but yet I am the news. Recently I've just been, trying to get into the stupidest things possible, which if the stupidest things possible, are, mostly just internet and IG personalities. For instance, my favorite new personality is Woah I don't know if you've ever heard of the talented, extremely smart feminist Woah. She is a white woman who sounds far blacker than I do, and is hilarious yet troubling. She is very, very funny. She's very, very interesting, and she has sparked once again the rumor that Lil Nas X is not gay, which I love. Can I just say, like, that's one of my favorite conspiracy theories, right? There's like QAnon, right? There's like JFK, and then there's Lil Nas X not being gay. Like, I feel like that's a fun thing. I like that. I find a lot of entertainment in that. You can spend so much time deep diving into that. It's a fun one. I feel like Lil Nas X not being gay is the new Stevie Wonder Can See. Does that make sense? Like, it's fun, it's harmless, it's not too crazy, but you get to waste a lot of time with your own life, instead of concentrating on things that actually matter, which is what I'm trying to do nowadays. So Woah, she was recently on a podcast. I don't even know which podcast. There's so fucking many. You know what I mean? And they're all the same. I feel like every urban podcast is exactly the same, right? This is like one Southern guy, or it's either like the Vlad method, right, where you just have one person, it's on them, and there's somebody from behind the camera talking, and you just get the craziest guy. This guy fucking stabbed someone in the neck and then pissed in the wound. Part 53. You know what I mean? Either that, or it's like Fresh and Fit, where it's just like two dudes just screaming at women. It's great stuff. But she was on one of those podcasts. They're all interchangeable at this point. But they're asking her, they're like, do you think Lil Nas X gay?
What you think about Lil Nas X?
I feel like he needs Jesus.
What about Lil Uzi?
He needs Jesus too. They both definitely sold their soul. I wanted to say this about Lil Nas X. I got a few friends that went to school with him, and they said he was never gay.
Are you serious?
So I know for a fact, like, what he doing is because, like, they told him, like, you got to do this now if you want.
So you feel like he not really gay?
I feel like ain't nobody really gay. In Jesus' name, amen.
She was like, and she starts talking about like the whole like industry and everything, which, obviously she's talking about how like the industry is demonic and all that shit and blah, 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 blah. The Nori door, if you will. Welcome back, folks. Check out Dante's episode. Brings up the Nori door, always a fun topic of discussion, and how people do weird shit. Listen, as far as demonic shit goes, I mean, listen, are people demonic? Yes. Do they actually believe in demons and Satan? No. It's just something to be more shocking and to be weird and to be unique. I think as like, especially with like all sorts of like artists, they always have this weird urge to be more and more and more unique outside of their art, which sucks because it's just like, dude, just do your art. But they're like, no, I have to do my art dressed wearing devil horns and a pantsuit, in a women's pantsuit. It's like, what are you doing? Who are you? Sam Smith, why are you dressed like the devil? What's going on? Why is this person in drag when they're not trans? You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on? What are we doing? But that's part of the art. I think once you get famous, you start falling into this void of like, how can I stand out more? People already know I'm good, but now, okay, so now I'm here, and now I've kind of peaked, or I'm plateauing. I'm in that same realm where people just see me as good, and if they pay attention to my work, they'll actually, maybe they'll buy it, maybe they're not. And now all of my work depends on how good my work is, and I think for most artists, that's terrifying, because for most artists, it's all about networking and who you know, and, having fun at the right parties and all that shit. And once you get to a certain level where everybody knows you, and now it's not just who you know, it's, are you actually good? I think they get terrified and they start putting on devil horns and they start wearing fucking, weird fucking, crotchless pants and shit, just going to the Grammys with no shirt on, anything to get more attention, because they're like, please God, don't ask me to make a great album, and I think that Lil Nas X in a way kind of fills into that sector as well. I like some of his music, but I think he trolls, he plays around, he does all that type of shit. So it makes people think like, yo, these guys are like legitimately worshiping the devil. That's the thing though, but it's hard to defend, because you're almost sitting there and you're like, yo, like, these people are worshiping the devil, but they don't actually believe in the devil. Does that make sense? Like, they just think it's like a thing to do that's cool, that's interesting, but they don't actually believe that the nigga is real in any way, shape, or form. But they are doing it, So I don't even know what to make sense out of it, And she's talking about, Will Vicky. She's like, oh yeah, it's demonic, and I almost feel racist for imitating her. That's how incredibly stereotypically black she sounds. That's what I was saying. I was saying that she sounds black. She doesn't sound black. She sounds stereotypically black. She sounds how a white woman would make a black girl sound, even if a black girl was talking properly. Like, how there's that like one black girl in like the fucking, in like the white clique in like a suburban school or some shit, right? And she sounds just as white as all the other girls. If you were to get one of her friends drunk and be like, do an impression of Erica, they'd be like, oh, what's up, girl? How you doing, girl? What's up? What? That's Mo Vicky. That's Woah Vicky. Except it feels authentic, which is weird. It does feel authentic, and it feels so authentic that it almost creeps me out, and I don't know what to do. She is something. Like I wish we could freeze her and put her in a time capsule so that when humanity is long gone and new beings are roaming this earth, they could see what an idiot actually is. You know? They could get a reference for how far from grace humanity had fallen towards its end. You know? That's my petition. I think it's great. And she's talking about it. So we're back to Lil Nas X. She's talking about him being gay and shit. And she goes, yeah, I knew him in school. I knew people who knew him in school. She knew people who knew him in school. So she's 2 degrees away, which is always my favorite type of speculation over here at the False Prophets podcast. You know, I shoot from the hip. So does she. It's a beautiful thing. I think it's great. It's amazing for the internet. Please, if there's anybody out here listening, please don't fact check anything. Please don't bother to hear anyone out. Please don't actually think anybody could be born gay, right? Because that's crazy. She is hilarious too, because she was like, they go like, oh, you think Lil Nas X is gay? And he's like, I don't think anybody's gay. You know, Jesus Christ ain't man. And I was like, all right, this woman, she has some goddamn conviction. I think I want Woah Vicky as my running mate. You know? So, like I said, a key bump and an ass to eat for every family. And Woah Vicky will be on my side for the presidency. She'll be vice president. And her catchphrase will be Jesus Christ, amen. And I think that's how we get the black vote with me. And we get the black vote with me, right? Or no, we get the liberal black vote with me. You know, let's be honest, okay? If we get the actually no, you know, that's an interesting poll. Who can get more black support, me or Woah Vicky? That's something that I want to know, but I also don't want to know because I feel like I would be disappointed. But we can get the Midwest with her. We can get all the Midwest white people once it's just Jesus Christ, amen. And then we get both of us can bring the black population together, and I think we would kill it. You know, fucking Woah Vicky. She's a goddamn inspiration. You know, I think more women should be like her. You know, I've even heard rumors that she didn't speak like that when she was in high school. So I find that interesting. I want to know her origin story so badly. You know, like I feel like she's the type. She was like a regular white girl from Minneapolis, and then she tripped and fell in a radioactive bucket of fried chicken, and out came Woah Vicky. And she's here for our entertainment, and I love it. You know, I love white people doing nigga shit, so that's perfect for me. You know what I mean? Like, niggas need to stop doing nigga shit. Like, you know, I think that'd be great. Like, white people gentrify everything else black people do. Why don't you gentrify ignorance? That'd be great, and then we'll be done with it, and you guys can have all of it. I think that's perfect. I think that's fucking perfect. Thank you. Please do it. Please let that happen. Please take over, like, white people. If any of you are watching this, please take over doing nigga shit in the way that you took over doing rock and roll. If you take it like that, oh my God, you bring it into the stratosphere. Please. You know. I want a young white kid to be the Led Zeppelin of doing nigga shit. You know what I mean? And it's happening too. I feel like because of the internet, everybody's becoming nigga now. You know, because of the internet, everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants a little bit of their face out there. I saw 2 rich white men get into a fight, and bro, this white dude beat the brakes off that man. He pulled off his shirt. They were fighting, bro. A Range Rover is slowed down and shit, bro. It was wild, and you love to see it. You love to see the slow demise of America, and hopefully the rise of Black America. Who knows? If you guys go over there and then we can slowly take that and rise, I'm happy for it. I'm happy for it. You know, I feel like that's a good time. Hold on, let me get some. Where's my drink? I've been busy podcasting my ass off. I need some electrolytes. You know, you gotta stay thirsty, friends. Stay thirsty. What else is up for this? What else is happening? Back to Japan and the whole nuclear holocaust that is impending over us. Who knows what's gonna happen? You know, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm honestly thinking about leaving this country. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking about going to the UK, which I feel like is almost like Europe's Florida. You know what I mean? Because like we over here in New York, in America, because we have like this American accent and we have like idiots and shootings and all sorts of dumb shit. You know what I mean? We see them with their accents as like, oh wow, that's amazing. But then you hear people talk about the UK. Like I know a lot of other Europeans, and they're like, the fucking English are fucking idiots. And so something tells me I'm like, that's a place where, you know, I need to live in the type of place where everybody thinks that the people who live there are idiots. That's the only way that I can survive and feel like I'm at home. You know, I need to be in a place that has tons of political power, yet everybody living in that area feels that that place should have no political power or political say whatsoever. You know? You know, I need an America Part 2, if you will. You know, because things are fucking crumbling over here. Fucking. I don't know if you heard, but Walmart is shutting down about half of their locations, which, you know, it's terrible. That's terrible. Where are fat Midwestern people gonna go to pretend that they provide for their family, right? Where is a 600-pound woman gonna go to pretend that she's buying vegetables, but truly buy 8 boxes of Honey Nut Cheerios and 3 Xboxes, okay? And a handgun. I mean, come on. That's the wildest thing about Walmart that you learn in like the South. They sell guns in Walmart. They sell guns. That's what America is. I feel like we're so used to just ourselves, and it's such a big place that we fall into the trap of thinking that some of the things we do are normal. For instance, the gun thing. And listen, I'm not a guy who's against guns, actually. I think that guns should be allowed. I think Americans have the right to own guns. I mean, bro, there's parts of this country that are just so fucking remote. You have to have a gun. You know what I mean? Like, you have to. But I don't think you should be able to have an AR-15. I think there needs to be a couple restrictions. And, maybe don't have them at Walmart next to the Pizza Hut Express? Maybe? Come on, don't do that. Am I crazy? You know, I feel like you should have it in the same way that it's like a liquor store or something. You should, come on, what are we doing here? And that's our biggest blind spot, I think, is all these fucking like is gun violence. I read in an article, and by read I mean watched on CNN for 2 seconds while I scrolled through my iPhone, that there's a new study that says 54% of Americans have had some sort of incident relating to gun violence. 19% have had a relative or someone that they know that has been injured from gun violence, and 17% have seen someone be shot right in front of them. And there's some serious numbers, okay? And the worst part is like the way that people combat like gun violence and shit, and they say like, oh well, if you make these guns or that type of gun illegal, like there's just gonna be a black market for it or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm fine. Like, listen, when I'm talking about gun violence and gun laws and all that shit, I'm not really talking about general gun violence as far as like gangs and like illegal shit, like robberies and stuff. I'm talking about just strictly making it harder for the average person to do a mass shooting. Because the simple, explanation for all this shit really is that if you made it harder or damn near impossible for a random nerdy fucking white dude to buy an AR-15 and a fucking AK-47 or whatever. He's not gonna go to fucking the Bronx to buy one from a arms dealer. Like, bro, he doesn't know any of those guys and how to really get one. And bro, by then, if bro, like, if some nerdy white high school kid in Chicago, actually makes the effort to go to fucking O Block and talk to the right dude and get pointed to go over there and go through some building and do the special knock and talk to the nigga and look through a gallery of fucking guns and everything and get that and bring it to school, then by all means, let the nigga, you know what I mean? He earned it, okay? Still not cool. I do not condone it. I condone no sort of violence whatsoever. But that is putting in your Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours, okay? Let's just keep it a bean, okay? That's putting in that work, all right? But, like, if, that's 1,000 times harder than just walking into a place and, being like, hey, let me get that, and that. No one asking any questions, no one asking what your mental well-being is, and letting you walk out with an arsenal that you could just take anywhere. I think we need to smarten up a little bit about this shit. Because if we don't, people like Woe Vicky are going to be in danger. Right? The most important people in the American government, the people who affect our lives the most, like Woe Vicky, are going to be at risk. And that is not okay. And if there's one thing you take from this podcast tonight, it's that we need to fix gun laws so we can protect the people that matter. Okay? Thank you. This has been the False Prophets Podcast. I've been Phil Risden. Stay safe out there. Peace.